All right, so welcome to the Bon Voyage podcast. I'm Michael Graham, your host, and my lovely co-host is my wife, Kelly Graham,
Welcome.
co-found. Thank you, co-founder of the Outlander Society, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later in the podcast. And we are hosting today American Cruise Lines, which is actually near and dear to our hearts. We've been on more than one cruise, and it's a great way to see the United States. And I want to welcome Cindy Kristen, who we have known for many years. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, good to be here today.
And Rhiannon Crawford, who is with us, a product development manager from American Cruise Lines. Rhiannon, I don't know you as well as Cindy. Could you tell us a little bit about like what you do at American, how you've been in the industry, or what brought you to us, today?
Absolutely. Yes, my name is Rhiannon. I'm originally from Rochester, New York. Kind of growing up, lots of traveling. I really got interested in the travel industry from high school, to be honest. I love traveling. I love entertainment. I love making people's vacations. And American Cruise Lines is quite special. I started here in August of 2023, so I've been here about 2 years. I started as a cruise director on board and then made my way over to the National Parks program, which I absolutely fell in love with as an adventure guide. And I am currently, as of April of this year, our product development manager, where I get to develop the new itineraries as well as work on the new itineraries for our National Parks program. So I just absolutely love it. I feel very lucky to do what I love every single day.
one
That's
Hundred
very
percent.
exciting.
Yeah, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So now, when Kelly and I most recently was last fall, we went on the Snake River cruise and then on to the national parks. And when it was the last day of, or the next to the last day of the cruise, the um, the cruise director came on and did a Zoom call for everybody that was going to continue on to the national parks.
Yes.
Would that have been you at that time?
It could have been me. I've been with national parks and legendary rivers with that particular itinerary since the beginning of last year. So it very well could have been
I
me.
thought it. Yeah, I thought it was
It definitely could
especially
have
when I
been.
see you now.
Usually they try to put the adventure guides that you'll actually be on the trip with, but sometimes, that doesn't always happen. So sometimes it's, one of the adventure guides that knows the itinerary very well.
Oh,
And
What a great itinerary it was.
oh my
it
God.
is gorgeous. I love the Columbia and Snake River.
It's a beautiful part of the country for absolute sure. And to be able to experience it from up high and from the
Yes.
water, I mean, you
Yes.
just get the whole everything about it. It's so cool.
Absolutely.
It
Right.
really is.
It's
And then
very popular.
Hmm.
yeah. And what was the um
I even loved all the little towns that you got to visit along the way, and we had so much fun, going and finding restaurants or finding little shops. I bought this great little
Absolutely.
top and necklace at one of them. I mean, just little small towns that you would never see otherwise.
I think I have earrings from almost every single port on that itinerary
I can
because
see
there's
that.
always handmade jewelry and those local shops. Astoria, Oregon is definitely probably one of my favorite places in the United States. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Cindy, will you tell us a little bit about you and your journey and what you do in American, please?
Sure. I've been in the travel industry for over 30 years, and I've actually been here at American Cruise Lines for the last 7.5 years. In sales position, I cover the Southeast area, but I've been selling river cruises for over 20 years. So I'm a
Wow.
real veteran. It's a true passion for me. I love the small ship cruising experience. And, my job is to work with travel advisors like you. Uh, Here in the Southeast, and I really enjoy that. And I love the travel industry. And I feel like I'm one of those true patriots. I love the country, and I love seeing all the beautiful things we have here, which I feel that a lot of people don't know that we have right here in our backyard. Like you said, the Columbian snake, which is just spectacular,
It is.
scenery. And so it's fun. And, more and more people are getting excited about seeing the United States. And, we've been putting these programs together. And Rhiannon's been great at that. I'm so glad she's doing stuff like this because she's been on the ships and experienced these things and, knows what people like to do. And so, we're bringing on all these new itineraries and stuff. And that makes my job more exciting out here. And so I'm just going at it and happy to be here today and talk to you more about about the natural parks that we're doing with the Great Smoky Mountains.
Well, let me take a minute actually and tell our listeners, if you're on live, just type in the chat box and we will present your questions to our guests. If you're listening to the podcast or watching on YouTube, just put it in the comments, your question. We'll get it answered for you. And if Kelly and I don't know the answer, we will reach out to Rhiannon or Cindy, and for sure they'll have the answer. Finally, if you don't do any of that, you can send it to an email to us, office@mgatravel.com, or you can even call 843-279-0310. So yeah, when we were on that the Colombian Snake River cruise, actually the CEO, is his name Charlie?
Yes, it
Charles or
is.
okay.
Mhm.
And I mean, I really love that. Like he was on there, he had a cabin for a day or two, and then he got off and did his thing. And we got to talk for a while. And what how great that you feel like somebody's really involved with the day-to-day operations, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, our CEO, Charlie, as well as our Vice President, Paul, they are very hands-on, definitely communicating with us every single day on, different things that we're, working on in the company. And they are very hands-on, and we work right in the same building as them. So it's great.
That is great.
And we're a family-owned business. We're owned by one family, which is the Robertson family. They're based out of Guilford, Connecticut. And the company was started by the father, who's no longer with us. So the three sons are own and operate the company. And we've been around over 50 years. So we have a lot of experience. And since being an American company, we're really fortunate. We build all of our ships here in the US. They're built in our shipyard, which is located in Salisbury, Maryland. Years ago, they bought this shipyard that was an abandoned shipyard, and brought it back to life and start building the ships. And it looks like we're building about 3 ships a year. We do build some other ships there too, like tugboats. So all the ships are built here in the US. They're US flagged, and they're 100% American crewed as well. So when you step on board, you're getting a true all-American experience. Great feature with our product too is that 90% of Americans can actually drive to our ports.
That's a
And
really cool fact.
Mhm.
yes, yes, because some people don't like to fly and they like to take that drive. So that makes it a nice thing for them. And what we're doing is, with building all the ships, we're going to continue to elevate the small ship domestic experience. And, we like to keep it small. All of our ships are under 200 guests. So it's always going to be a nice, intimate experience for our guests. So it's not like the big ships where you've got all these people. This is a small ship experience. You're going to see the guests over and over again. You're going to get to know people. Usually by the second day, most of the people, or you've seen them on the ship. So you're starting new relationships, and that's what makes it a lot of fun. And then, I like to put in there too, the crew is, we have a younger crew. They're very energetic. They love our guests, and they really will go to all lengths to make them happy and enjoy their experience. So we do package quite a bit of nice features into our programs to make it very simple. We don't want to be, nickel and diming people. So we've tried to package most everything in there. We've included our top shelf cocktails, which are available throughout the day. Locally sourced cuisine, which prepared fresh daily. We're able to get the fresh meats, fish, fruits, vegetables every day. We have really excellent food. Usually the portions are quite large, but you can ask for half portions if you want. We have a nice selection of entrees, and we do, of course, the local cuisine as well. In addition, we have onboard entertainment every evening. We have local performers, dancers, musicians, comedians. Also really important, I think, is the enrichment programs. These are our historians, our lecturers, which we have on every sailing, and they're very knowledgeable on all of these destinations and the history and the culture. And they really bring the destination to life for our guests. So they do a lecture every day, and you're guaranteed to learn something. And I think that's always very humbling to learn American history, because, most of us don't know a whole lot of our history. And so if you're out on the Columbian Snake, of course, you're going to hear a lot about Lewis and Clark. If you're on the Mississippi, you're going to hear a lot about the Civil War. So it's kind of how it goes.
Well, let
And then,
me let me interrupt you for 1 second,
sure.
Cindy. I just want to say, before we did that Snake and River, which also had an excellent presenter and lecturer, we did I
New
think it was
Orleans.
2019 New Orleans on the Mississippi River cruise. And Bill and Laura, I can't remember Bill's last name, but I will
Yes,
never.
Yes, yes,
Oh my gracious.
yeah.
I mean, Michael
we
and I were
love
the
them.
first ones to the lounge so we could get our seat because he was a brilliant storyteller.
Absolutely
He
brilliant.
brought history alive, and you would learn stuff about the around the Mississippi, about the Civil War, about that I never thought of. And he told it like if he would been my
History
history
teacher.
teacher in high school, I would have
Yes.
actually paid attention.
Right?
He
Right.
tells a story, and he's even written books and stuff. I get his emails. I love. And they're a married couple. They travel together, and she's a wonderful singer. And he does like magic tricks and stuff.
Yes.
Sometimes, it's
He's
pretty.
He
multi-talented.
is
He's
multi-talented.
multi-talented, and
Totally.
so is Laura. So yeah, sorry to
Several
interrupt, but
itineraries too, doesn't he? Rhiannon, he does several different programs.
Yes, so Bill and Laura, they're actually our official Eagle Society ambassadors. So they'll actually be embarking on the American Symphony tomorrow,
Oh, wow.
and they'll be going on our Eagle Society cruise. So a couple times a year, we like to honor our loyalty program and do a cruise that is specifically just for them, our Eagle Society. And Bill and Laura will join them on each and every one of them and offer kind of that exclusive entertainment and enrichment. And they are wonderful. His stories are captivating, and their entertainment is wonderful. I
Agreed.
agree.
And I always say I wish I would have paid more attention in school to history because I love
Yes.
history today. And the same with geography.
But it's
But you
so
know,
different when you're on this beautiful vessel in the
Hmm.
space and he's pointing out the window and saying, right
Right.
here, it just kind of hits home. Plus, I guess we're all a little bit older and we care more about these things too.
But
yes, yeah.
I think it makes it applicable. It just really makes it so engaging when you can look out the window and see, this is the actual trail that Lewis and Clark took on their expedition back in 1803. And it just brings it so close to home. And I feel the exact same way. I love it.
100%. And
Eh,
on both cruises, when if the lecture was going to start at 4 o'clock, it wasn't just me and Kelly, right? Everybody, like 90% of the people, like it didn't matter what else was going on. They're like, oh no, we're not going to miss this at all. It is a highlight for
It is
sure.
a highlight. Absolutely.
It
But
is.
another highlight to get back to Cindy's is the food because I will say I agree with you on that aspect also. I thought the cuisine was wonderful on board.
Thank
Was
And
you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, so in the history, I mean, every little town we visit has some significance in history that we don't even know, because I grew up along the upper Mississippi and those towns there, I didn't even know them right by and have all these different histories. And so we've really, like Rhiannon's group, they've really found these interesting, unusual things to find in history to show our guests. So it really does make it fun to learn, because to me, a river cruise is not just a cruise, it's really a history and cultural experience. So it is absolutely more than a cruise. So another great feature on board our ships is the self-service laundry, which is always great. We have this service, on all of our ships except a few of the smaller coastals, but it's a great feature for our guests so they don't have to worry about overpacking. Also on board the ships, we have a library with computer stations, Wi-Fi. We use Starlink, so it works really well. And we've also packaged in the gratuities to the onboard crew. So we have put a lot of inclusions into the programs that just make it simple for our guests. So I know when you get on the big ships, you have all these extra things you got to pay for. That's not the case with us. So I like that.
Me too.
So yeah, so we're growing leaps and bounds. And right now, I wanted to just show you our fleet because, we're building ships for all these different waterways. We actually have hundreds of waterways in the US, but there were not the ships and, we didn't have the ships to operate on them. So now we've been building over the last few years, all these different types of ships to go on these waterways. And so we'll start with the coastals, like the Patriot class. We just came out with our first Patriot class, which is the American Patriot, which was in June. It's a 130 passenger coastal ship. And right now it's up there in the New England area. And we're going to build 4 of these. The Pioneer will be coming in November, and then the Ranger and Maverick for next year. And these are built with a new type of stabilizer that allows us to go further away from the coastline. So we're really excited. These are beautiful little ships, very spacious staterooms, which is consistent among all of our staterooms on our ships. And next we have the coastal cats, with which we built the last 2 years. We have 4 of these right now. They're all here on the in the Northeast New England area doing the summer programs. And then they'll come down to Florida. They'll do some of our Southeast Seas, which is a historic South itinerary. And so we keep them very busy. And these are 100 passengers on the coastal cats. And then we have 2 larger coastal ships, which is the Constellation class. And that's the Constellation and Constitution, which are both out in Alaska right
Wow.
now. We do a great Alaska programs that we do with the national parks there.
Yep.
And then we have the Independence class. These are smaller coastals of 100 guests. We have 2 of these on the East Coast and 1 out doing the Puget Sound and San Juan Islands. Also, the Constellation class, after the Alaska season, they'll do the Puget Sound and San Juan Islands too. And then moving over to what's on the river, we have the paddle wheels, which you typically think of when you think of river cruising in the U.S., but we've come a long way. But the paddle wheels still have a lot of nostalgia and people that are interested in cruising on the paddle wheels. They're very nice. We have 2 out on the Columbian Snake and 2 on the Mississippi, and they range in size from just 100 guests to the largest, which is 180. And then we have the the modern river boats. Currently, we have 6 of these, 3 on the Columbian Snake and 3 on the Mississippi. And they're 170, 180 guests, 100% balconies. And they're really beautiful ships. They glide along the water like a Porsche. And we're able to maneuver these quite well. If we don't have an actual docking platform, we can pull into the embankment of the river. What's really cool is the mouth of the ship will open and we can embark and disembark our guests this way. Did you guys do that at all? I think on the Columbian
We
Snake?
did, and I love that aspect. And I know people have nostalgia for the paddle wheelers, but if you're like trying to decide between the other, these new riverboats that you guys have are amazing. I mean, they're so modern, and you feel like your room is like a hotel room, but and the dining room's like a dining room. You don't even feel like you're on a ship. You feel like you're in a really nice boutique hotel that moves down the river. And on the Mississippi, I mean, this is not a small ship, and this thing is like a John boat. He could just drive right up into the bank, tie off to a tree, and then the nose whole thing opens to this articulating gangway that comes out. I mean, it's really a marvel of engineering, and it's so cool to go almost anywhere you want.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really nice ships. And, all the staterooms are really spacious. And as I said, everybody has a balcony. And they're similar to the river cruise ships in Europe, but they're about 100 feet shorter in length, but they're much wider because the locks are not as narrow as in Europe. So that's why we can have these big staterooms like this. So they're really wonderful ships. And we have another one that's coming next year, the American Encore, that will be placed on the Columbian Snake. And then we'll have 2 more after that in 27 that will also be on the Columbian Snake. So of course, that program is really, really popular, and we got to meet the demand there. So we're excited about that. So people will be surprised, I think, at all the different itineraries that we have. We have well over 50 itineraries visiting 35 states. Of course, we do the Mississippi, the lower from New Orleans up to Memphis, the upper from St. Louis up to Minneapolis. You can do the entire Mississippi, 14, 21 nights. We have the tributaries, the Ohio, the Tennessee, and then we do the Cumberland on our Music City cruise. So we offer all those. And then, of course, we also have the Columbian Snake from Portland, Oregon to Clarkston, Washington. And then coming down the coastline, we've got Maine, New England, the Hudson, Chesapeake Bay. We do a American Revolution cruise out of Washington, D.C., and Inland Passage. We do the Florida Keys out of St. Pete, which we've been doing a couple years now. And we also do the Great Rivers of Florida. And we do, one of my favorites is the Southeast Seas Island itinerary, which comes out of Charleston to Amelia Island. And then moving out to the Pacific Northwest, we've got a lot of, we do the Puget Sound and San Juan Islands, and then we've got several choices on our Alaska itineraries where we combine both Denali and King Fjords national park programs. So we do a really great job out there. Maybe you'll have us back when you're ready to do Alaska in a different way.
Mm.
That's we do a great job out there. If you really want to see the marine and wildlife, we can show it to you with our small ship experience. And because we are American, we do not have to leave the United States like everybody else has to. And so I just feel like, we do an exceptional job out there in Alaska.
That's a very good point.
It's a
Right.
great point,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also the 100% American crew, and a lot of these are young kids, but every one of them have been so nice and outgoing
Yeah.
and respectful and thoughtful, and just trying to delivering excellent service.
Yes, and I think they have a great time. I know Rian can talk about this, but they are young. They've got a lot of energy. They want to, make our guests happy. They're having a good time. A lot of them, it's their first job or their first
Yeah.
time away from home. And this is just such a great experience for young people and, they can also get into management if they want to, stay with it. And there's lots of opportunities there. And it would have been great, when I was younger, if I could have had that kind of option and experience. So look, we've got Rhiannon. She's young and she's had a couple of years with us already. And look how knowledgeable and, what great enthusiasm and excitement she brings to our products. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Rhiannon, so you can talk about the Great Smoky Mountains.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Cindy. And yes, I truly, truly loved working on board as a cruise director. I will say the crew, we become family. We really do. And with, the smaller amount of guests, the crew is probably only about 50 or 60 people. And it's so much fun on board. And as Cindy mentioned, it is some of the first times away from home for some of these crew members. And so them coming and getting to see certain parts of the country that they never would have had the chance otherwise. It's just so much fun. Definitely a lot of fun. So with our national parks program, we have 3 currently running, the Alaska one, which Cindy mentioned, and then we have the national parks and legendary rivers, which Michael, you mentioned that you have been on. And then we also have the Great Smoky Mountains. So I have had the honor to be with the Great Smoky Mountains since the beginning of us actually launching the program, which was the beginning of last year in 2024. And we run from the middle of May to the end of October. And I'm sure that bringing your folks out there at the end of October, that one of the highlights of the Great Smoky Mountains is actually the fall. It's absolutely gorgeous out there. The fall colors are just unbeatable. So for this next slide, setting the expectations now, our ships and our national park programs vary in a couple of different ways. As you step off the ship, we do hold ourselves to the same standards where we want to make it as comfortable for you as possible. Everything is taken care of throughout the entire trip, but you are kind of stepping back into a rustic experience. Smoky Mountains was founded in 1934, so some of these buildings are very much still in their historical state. And so we kind of like to set those expectations and make sure that you are ready for the journey. So for the hotels for the Smoky Mountains, it's really nice because we actually stay in the same hotel the entire time. We'll
Ooh,
stay in the Residence
like that.
Inn. Yeah, it's great. So you kind of come and unpack, and you don't have to worry about moving at all throughout the journey, which our guests really, really love. And it's a wonderful hotel. I don't know if you've ever stayed at a Residence Inn before, but they're beautiful.
Yes.
And our hotel in particular actually overlooks the Smoky Mountains. And it's also just a short walk away from Pigeon Island, which is a great place for nightlife in Pigeon Forge, but it's also far enough away where it's nice and quiet and you can just enjoy the serenity of the mountains right there. So we head there, and then we also have expectations for the motor coach because we do have long drives throughout the way, throughout the day. We try not to stay on the motor coach for more than 2 hours. But with that said, we always like to make sure our guests are prepared with water and layers and just making sure that they know, we'll get opportunities to stand up and stretch, but it might be a little bit of a longer journey. Whereas when you're on the ship, you kind of have the freedom to roam all the time. So what guests sometimes don't know when they're going to the Smoky Mountains for the first time is it is a temperate rainforest. So the temperature tends to change a lot throughout the day. So for example, on one of the days that I'll get to, we start the top at Klingman's Dome, and there could be snow on the ground. And then that afternoon we go to Gatlinburg and we're walking around and it's 80 degrees and you're sweating. So it is quite confusing
Wow.
sometimes. So we always prepare our guests and let them know, drink water, bring layers, prepare for the temperature change, and they're just kind of surprised by that. Expectations for the local restaurants. So just like on board, we really try to feature the local cuisine. So For example, on the Columbia and Snake River, I'm sure that you all had the opportunity to try huckleberry ice cream. Yeah.
Oh, yes, we did.
I cannot get enough of huckleberry ice cream. And the same thing when we go on our southern cruises, we get to feature the local dishes of New Orleans, gumbo, jambalaya. We get to do pecan pralines. And then we'll go up to the East Coast and we have, lobster. We have that lobster bake. So when we come on the national parks, it's the same thing. So, just letting them know this is the local cuisine. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit less options than what you might find on board, but it is really trying to highlight what this region has to offer. And just kind of setting those expectations. And a lot of the times, just the guests, actually, most of the time, the guests just really want to fully immerse themselves and, just have the full experience.
That's so awesome because I think across the United States, so many places, I mean, we're so homogenous. I mean,
Hmm.
TGI Fridays, this, it's you eat the same thing in any city in the United States. So to have really the taste of the place is awesome.
Absolutely. Yes. It is definitely
You
something we pride ourselves in, and the guests love to experience.
And we I think our once we left the ship, we had 2 guides with American. It was Jamari and Miranda, if I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
mistaken, which
Yeah.
they're
Hmm.
amazing. They were great.
They are.
And
They're
so
wonderful.
they also, in addition to the huckleberry ice cream, they showed me this bear claw. Oh my god, I
Hmm.
could eat like 100 of those.
So good,
Oh,
right?
what
Is it
that
the
is.
chocolate with the, I think there's like caramel in it and peanuts?
Yeah, I think they have different flavors of them. It's just like this homemade pastry, and it's
Hmm.
huge, and it kind of supposed to look like a bear claw or something,
Yep.
but it was really cool. I'd never had anything like it.
So good. And then it's an excuse to want to go back there, right? You're like, I
Right.
need my huckleberry, I need my bear claw.
Sounds great. I miss that.
Up for those expectations, letting them know what to expect, and just kind of knowing, May, June, August, September, October, how these different temperatures spread. In June in the Smoky Mountains, it does tend to be extremely hot, whereas you head into September and October, it's going to be more of that moderate light jacket, and again, those beautiful fall colors. Although the entirety of when we run our program is really the best time to go to the Smoky Mountains from May until October. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The vegetation, the wildlife, all of it you can see during those times. So you always want to pack a small bag on the motor coach. You always want to have something at hand. You always want to know, have your water bottle, have your layers. Moving on, just to give you a little glimpse, I don't think a lot of people know this, that Great Smoky Mountains is actually the most visited national park in the entire United States.
What?
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
shocked by this
Wow.
I
slide.
Look
know.
at these
Over
stats.
13 million visitors per year, the Great Smoky Mountains gets.
Oh, I didn't think
Wow.
anybody could beat Yellowstone, maybe Grand Canyon, but look at this. It's not even
Yeah,
close.
that's
Exactly.
surprising.
Yeah, Yellowstone and Grand Canyon pretty close, coming in at 4 million, and then we got Yosemite at about 4 million as well. But yeah, 13 million for the Great Smoky Mountains.
Wow.
There's a couple reasons for that. The first one being that it's actually free to go into the Great Smoky Mountains. You don't have to pay an admission cost,
Huh.
and it is also drivable for about 85% of the country. A day's drive from about 85% of the country. That's how big it is. And it's just easy access for a
Wow.
lot of people. So it gets about 13 million visitors.
Wow.
What?
And there are definitely a lot of reasons for that. The first one being our friend right here, the black bear. They have abundant wildlife in the Great Smoky Mountains. It is home to um, well, talking about vegetation, it is home to over 4,000 plant species, as well as over 100 tree species. We have black bears, we have elk, we have bobcats, and actually, fun fact, that Smoky Mountains is the salamander capital of the world.
Huh.
They have the largest salamander. It's called the hellbender, and it can measure up to 29 inches long. So I have yet to cross one. I have not found a hellbender yet. They also are home to the pygmy salamander, which is really, really tiny, but lots of opportunity to see wildlife, to see that scenery. And when you're actually going up the Smoky Mountains, as you're rising, you go through 4 different ecosystems. So you really get to see that vegetation change and, the trees, the different trees and the different plants that are growing. It is really so beautiful. The diverse wildlife we already touched on a little bit. It does have a really rich history. Like I said, it was founded in 1934, and there are a couple different stops that we make along the way in our journey that really allows us to take a step back in time and really see what life was like back then. It does have a few waterfalls and trails. One hike that we actually do on day 2, we get to go to Cataract Falls, which is a really cute waterfall, and really gets you really get a chance to take about a 1 mile hike back into the woods and see this beautiful waterfall.
That's something else I like about American is, you've always got a lot of different options. So you might be a very active person and you want to do those, more strenuous hikes, or you might just want to walk around. On the other hand, I've seen people drive off on the golf cart on that front of the ship, and there's
Absolutely.
something for everybody in that regard.
Yes, along with our ships, we really try to make our national parks programs as accessible as possible. We try to make sure that everybody is comfortable at all times, and we really do offer kind of that diverse opportunity, whether you're an avid hiker and you really want to go off and hike for that entire time that we're there, or you're more into learning about the history at the visitor center and just kind of taking it easy and soaking it all in. We offer both and numerous stops along the way.
Yeah,
So with
and Rihanna,
sorry, go ahead.
also too, talk about how many guests are actually doing the Smoky Mountains with our guides.
Yeah, so our group is very small. All of our national parks programs only runs with 40 guests and 2 guides. We'll have 2 adventure guides. One is an adventure guide that is like an American Cruise Lines representative. The other one is a regional guide, where we just started a new regional guide program this year, and we're trying to get it on all of our national parks programs, where we actually have somebody from the area with us along the way the entire time.
It's a small, intimate experience. So not everybody on the ship is doing the Smoky Mountains, so it's a small number of guests on the ships or on the motor coaches and on the tour programs. So
Absolutely. Yes. Like Cindy said, we only have 40 guests doing the program. So it's not everybody from the ship. So it's a nice, small, intimate program. You can all fit on one motor coach very comfortably throughout the way. And then you'll have 2 adventure guides with you. As far as the hotel stay, now I did say that you stay in one hotel for the entirety of your national parks program in the Smoky Mountains. However, you do stay in one additional hotel if you're coming from the Knoxville way. There are 2 different ways that you can do our Smoky Mountains National Parks program. You can either do the Tennessee River first and then do your Smoky Mountains National Parks package, or do the Smoky Mountains National Parks package first and then do the Tennessee Rivers.
I think
Both
that's the
are,
direction we're doing.
that's the direction you're doing. So you're coming
Yeah.
from Knoxville?
Yeah. So we have
Okay,
like a
perfect.
pre-cruise stay,
Hmm.
well, a pre-trip stay, and then we go to the place where you stay for several nights,
Yep.
the Residence Inn, I guess you said, and then we go board the ship.
Absolutely. Yeah, so this is absolutely the hotel you'll likely be staying at then. It's just about 50 yards to the hotel from the airport. It's really nice and walkable once you land in the airport in Knoxville. You stay there for the night. They have a restaurant on site, which is really nice and convenient for our guests. That's where you'll have breakfast the following morning before starting the journey in the Smoky Mountains. So you'll just check in, have the night to relax, and kind of get ready for the journey the next day. It's very easy, and they're wonderful over there. Day one. So day one, as Cindy mentioned before, with our cruises, just like it is a good balance of the beauty, the education aspect, as well as the cultural immersion. We definitely have the same exact idea when we're going into the national parks program. We love to show you the beauty, the diversity, the wildlife, but we also like to show you a really nice cultural experience. So night one, we actually go to Dolly Parton Stampede, which is super fun. Dolly Parton is an absolute icon, obviously a world icon, but especially in Pigeon Forge area and the Great Smoky Mountains. She's absolutely worshipped over there. And so Dolly Parton Stampede is a really great way to kick off the entire trip. It gets a little competitive. There's singing and dancing and horse riding and a huge competition, and our guests absolutely love it. Along with that, you'll get some local food. You actually get a whole chicken to eat. So they don't let you go hungry, as
And
well
it's
as some.
delicious, by the way. It's
It's
like a Cornish hen. My
yes,
God, it is
it's
so good.
so good. It is delicious. Along with some barbecue pulled pork and some corn and potatoes and local desserts as well. I believe they feature an apple turnover as well as a chocolate cake. And so that is a really great way to just kick off the trip and kind of bring everybody together. And everyone's always seated together in the arena, because the arena is huge and the show is absolutely magnificent. But everybody's all seated together. And another thing I should mention is on the national parks program, just like the ships, all of your drinks are included as well. So all if you want an alcoholic beverage at meals, that is completely included with the experience.
If you
Yeah, I
ask my
mean,
sister about this Dolly Parton's chicken, if you say one word to her, you will get 25 minutes of how delicious she thinks this chicken is. And I am not even kidding you.
Oh,
That's amazing. One other place I forgot to mention on day one, we also go to Townsend, which is the peaceful side of the Smokies, and we go to a local restaurant there as well called the Peaceful Side Social. They have amazing local lunch as well as ice cream featured by a local creamery. Now, if you ask anybody that knows me, I am like the connoisseur of ice cream, and it is some of the best ice cream I've ever tasted in my life. And Michael and Kelly, you'll have to let me know when you go next October because
that's
it is
right.
some of the best ice cream ever. Moving into day two, we go right into the Smoky Mountains. We'll join our Pink Jeep tours and we'll do a scenic ride through Cades Cove. It's a beautiful 11-mile loop where you get to see a lot of the buildings as they have been since even pre 1934, and definitely a chance to see some black bear. We see black bears almost every time we go. It's never a guarantee, of course, but it is a beautiful opportunity to see that. Sometimes we'll see wild turkey. We'll see lots of different beauty out there. And then following that, we'll go to Sugarlands Visitor Center and we'll do that trail that I was referring to before to Cataract Falls. So Sugarlands Visitor Center, they have a museum in the back that's all about the animals. There's also an opportunity to gift shop. And then if you'd like, you can join our regional guide for a hike all the way back to Cataract Falls, where they'll talk about the vegetation and the different plants that you'll see back there. That's kind of an example of how we offer, the more active crowd something like a hike. And then, if you'd rather just kind of enjoy the museum, maybe buy a gift, then you can stay close to the gift shop and just kind of have a nice relaxing time there. And for our national parks guests, I'm giving away a little bit to Michael and Kelly, but we do give you a little gift of a national parks passport book that you can get stamped throughout the park. So at the visitor center, you'll have an opportunity to get those stamps and just kind of prove that you have been there to the Great Smoky Mountains.
And you can keep that, for future trips on your own or
Absolutely.
another national parks trip with you guys with American Cruise Lines and keep getting those stamps. I mean, I know people
Mhm.
that want to fill that thing up.
Yeah, I actually had a couple that was on national parks and legendary rivers trips with me, and then came to the Smoky Mountains, and they still had their book, and they had done some national parks in the meantime, and they were like, "Look, I still have my book from when you gave it to us," and I was like, "Oh, that's so
That
awesome."
is
That
awesome.
is.
Yeah, it's always great, just like seeing guests. I've seen guests that I have actually booked on that trip, and then I'm on it, and it is just so special when you get to reunite with those guests, and they can update you on what's been happening in their lives.
In our experience on board, for sure, there were a lot of repeat guests.
Absolutely.
yeah.
And then to round out day two, we'll head down to a local cidery. We'll actually go to the Apple Barn. They have a winery and a cidery there, and you have the opportunity to do either a cider tasting or a wine tasting. And we do have some non-alcoholic options as well. And then we'll end the day at Applewood Farmhouse, which features a lot of local food, fried chicken. They have some of the best fried chicken, chicken and dumplings, the pot roast, and then they also have the ground steak. They have so many different Southern cooking options, and they definitely don't let you go hungry. The dinners here are quite large. We always get a lot of guests saying, "There's so much food." And we're like, "Well, at least you're not going hungry." But they definitely love to feed you in the
Sounds
South.
great.
I haven't had lunch yet. I mean,
I
I'm
know. I
trying.
was thinking the same thing,
I
Michael.
know. But the cidery and winery wine are also very local. They have the orchards right in the back of there. So it's really cool that you're getting a taste of what is actually grown there. Day three, our final day, is we start out by going to the top of Klingman's Dome, which stands at 6,643 feet tall. It is actually the tallest point in not only the Great Smoky Mountains, but as well as the Appalachian Trail and Tennessee. So
Wow.
it is really, really high. And when you get up there on a clear day, you can see as much as 100 miles in any direction. You can see North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama. There are a couple of other states that you can see on a really, really nice clear day, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It is quite a hike, though. I will say this is definitely for the more active guest. It's about 2/3 of a mile up, completely paved, which is really nice. But you definitely want to take your time getting to the top, but it's worth it when you get there. On the way to Clingman's Dome, we actually make a couple of stops, one of them being Newfound Gap, where you get a really good view of the Tennessee as well as the North Carolina mountains. And it actually has the Tennessee and North Carolina state line. So you can stand in two states at once right there. And it also has the Appalachian Trail. So you can walk the width of the Appalachian Trail, as we like to say. And then headed into the afternoon, we'll head down to Cherokee and we go to a Kahnawake Visitor Center. And the really unique thing about this visitor center is you get to see how a settlement was when it was first like a settlement was in 1934. So they actually have those buildings there. And it's the Mountain Farm Museum. So the Mountain Farm Museum just offers that really cool experience. And then we'll head on down to Gatlinburg. And Gatlinburg Sky Park is a really unique experience as well. It has the longest cable pedestrian suspension bridge in the entire country. So you get a really good look at the Smoky Mountains. It is optional. You don't have to do the Sky Park, but it is part of the experience if you'd like to go. You take a ski lift to the top and you can walk across the bridge and get a beautiful view of the Smoky Mountains.
I think I already know 2 things that Kelly's not gonna do.
Well, I was just wondering
What are they?
if you could take the ski lift up and then take the ski lift back down.
Absolutely. You do not have to do the bridge. The bridge
I
is
have a
completely optional.
I have a little bit of a fear of heights.
They have, when you get to the top, they have another option. It's called the Sky Trail, and it's much less daunting, I will say. And you just take the Sky Trail all around. You still get beautiful views. You still get a nice walk, but you don't have to do the suspension bridge. And a lot of people choose to do that as well.
That's for me.
And I was going to say that's also wheelchair friendly. So they can do that. They have wheelchairs at the top. So you can just wheel around the Sky Trail and then come right back down. And yeah.
You
That's
know, that's
great.
a great point. The ships on American cruise lines, because it is American, go are under the ADA, and I mean, I have never seen a more wheelchair-friendly ship than that one.
Yes,
You can go to every deck, which you can't do on, most river cruise ships. And,
absolutely.
I know in our national parks, I mean, you could do, everything when if you had a wheelchair, I think. Is that the case here, you think?
Yeah, it is really important for American Cruise Lines to be as inclusive as mobility restrictions as possible. When you get to the national parks, you do find that there are some limitations, but
Sure.
it's really based on kind of the historic buildings. And we always try to make sure that our guests know before they're going so that they're not disappointed when they get there. So as the adventure guide, beforehand, you already know the things that maybe somebody with a wheelchair or walker or even walking stick maybe can't participate in or maybe will struggle to. So you just kind of have a talk with them and just make sure that they feel comfortable doing this. And if they don't, maybe offer an alternative or just stay with them to make sure that they're comfortable through the entire time. But I will say a good amount of it is really doable.
That's great. That's
Mhm.
That is
great.
great.
Day 4. So for you all, you would be heading to the ship, getting ready for your Tennessee River cruise. So you'll start in the morning, have a nice breakfast, and then you'll be headed to the ship, the American Symphony, where you'll be catching it in Chattanooga and starting your journey on the beautiful Tennessee River. So just some port highlights of the Tennessee River. It is an absolute beautiful cruise. I've had the opportunity to cruise it a couple times. In Chattanooga, you can visit the Tennessee Aquarium as well as the National Medal of Honor Heritage Center. As you get to Decatur, one of the highlights is the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. Moving along to Florence, we have Muscle Shoals Studio Experience. A lot of people don't know that a lot of famous musicians actually came from Florence, Alabama. So you get to take a look inside this studio experience. Heading on down to Savannah, Tennessee, you get to go to the Shiloh Military Park. This is a very, very popular excursion for our guests. We do have a lot of veterans that cruise with us, and so they really like to, go to the military park and experience that. Headed up the river, we have Paducah, Kentucky, which features the National Quilt Museum. Now, even if you're not a quilter, you will absolutely love this quilting museum. It is beautiful. I know that it sounds like I'm hyping it up a bit, but it is absolutely gorgeous. Another really unique thing about it is it's constantly changing. They're always featuring different quilters, different artists. And so if you have went, a couple years ago, revisit again because they'll be featuring different quilts and it is really beautiful.
Well, it definitely is an art form.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then to end your cruise, you'll be going to Nashville, Tennessee. And of course, one of the highlights of this cruise is getting the opportunity to go and see a show at the Grand Ole Opry. Have either of you been to the Grand Ole Opry before?
I
I
have
have
not.
actually, when I was in, I think I was a freshman in high school, we were in a dance competition and we stayed in the hotel. Oh,
Yeah, I want
yes.
to say it's called the Opry
And
Hotel.
my little 15-year-old self could not get over the grandeur of what was inside this hotel. I just could not even
Yes.
wrap my head around it. It was the biggest thing I think I'd ever seen at that point.
It is absolutely gorgeous.
Now,
I haven't been in the hotel, but I've been to the Opry, and it'll just blow you away, the talent on that stage and just
The
the
history.
yes, the history and just the ambiance, like, everybody's just so excited and so in it, and it's very, very exciting.
When you leave Paducah and you go to Nashville, do you switch over to the Cumberland River?
I believe the last part of that is the Cumberland River. I think Cindy
yes.
can confirm that, yes. But yeah, it's a really, really beautiful trip, so definitely get excited. Go ahead.
I've learned so much already, just and I'm not even on the ship, but
I know, I
I
was
mean,
like,
I've
I don't
learned
wanna give too much
No.
away because
I
it's
think
really
it's
hard not
And you
to.
you gotta wait a couple years to go. So
I don't I'll forget between now and then, so
you'll just have to replay this.
Yeah, you can rewatch the podcast on YouTube anytime.
Yes.
When the time of year that you all are going, like I said, the May to October is really the prime time in the Smoky Mountains, but October especially, I had never been to the Smoky Mountains in the fall before last year, and the beauty just absolutely blew me away. And when you're at the top of Klingman's Dome, looking out at all the different colors, you feel so small, but in the best way. You're like, wow, this world is just so beautiful. So I think that you are really going to love it in October.
can't wait.
American Symphony,
Yes.
which is one of our modern river boats, as you can see. And there you can see, like we were talking about docking right there, just pulling into the embankment of the river. So the ship is 180 guests, and they're very, very spacious. Everyone has their own balcony. And on the top deck there, we do have a walking path. We have a shuffleboard and putt-putt golf as well. We also have a separate little dining venue too that we offer, where you can get hamburgers, hot dogs,
Oh, yeah.
pizza, ice cream throughout the day. So
Casual.
you'll absolutely enjoy the beautiful ship gliding along the river as well. So, do you want to tell any more about the ship that you experienced? Because you've been on them quite a bit more than myself, Rhiannon.
No, I think you pretty much covered it. I really love the American Symphony. The river boats are absolutely gorgeous. I will say the staterooms, I think that Michael touched on it a little bit, but they are actually quite large for cruise ship staterooms. I think that they are just very spacious, very roomy, very modern. And so I think that the staterooms are beautiful. And yeah, I
Yeah,
think you pretty
they're
much
very
touched on
large.
everything.
Yep, and we do have single staterooms on these ships too, and they're a good
Yes.
size. Overall, all the ships have very spacious staterooms, average 325 square feet, and they have nice hotel style bathrooms
It's
and
true.
storage space, and they're just really, really comfortable and very enjoyable for our guests. So we like everything big here in America, so we better have big staterooms for our guests. So
I
Yeah.
like it.
now, here's the deck plan. I just wanted you to see, and you can see the different categories that we offer. Again, everything is big. We have also a fitness center, nice fitness center on the ships as well. We have a library, that has the Wi-Fi and the workstations. We have nice couple different comfortable lounges. Throughout the day, we have a 24-hour bar, coffee, tea bar where they can get coffees, teas, and snacks as well. Never any time where there's not food available for them. We do cookie time a couple times a day
Yes.
as well. And so lots of great stuff. And so truly great place to just sit and relax, watch the ever changing scenery along the river. And it's always, I think, so peaceful to be on the water and be on the riverways. And there's a lot of things going on along the river, just like in Europe. There's their commerce, the cities are built around the rivers. And so you see a lot of action along the river throughout the day. So it's nice to be able to pull right into these towns on these ships and get off the ship and enjoy, the local, history and so forth of all the different towns. So
And it seems
Definitely.
like it was almost every night about cocktail hour, they would serve canopies in the main lounge.
Yes.
to us, and also bar was open, and there was
Hmm.
open bar.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The
The
bar was
River
open and
Lounge
it was
on
an open bar, yeah, both ways, which is nice.
Definitely. The River Lounge on this ship will be where we have cocktail hour with the open bar as well as our evening entertainment. It's a great place to also just see us riding along the river as there are windows all at the front. And you can also step outside on that front deck and just see where we're going. But yeah, the River Lounge is definitely going to be that main area where we are doing cocktail hour, bars, trivias, activities, bingo, and then also that evening entertainment.
Yeah, and when we were on board, we this last one on the Snake and Columbia River, we had the Outlander Society group. We'll talk about it in a minute. That is what we're doing on this great Smoky Mountains river cruise, and they did a nice private cocktail party for our group. So if
Oh,
we reach a certain
wonderful.
size, we may be able to do the same thing on this cruise.
Absolutely. Yes. As a cruise director, we definitely arrange those things all the time. So we would be happy to do that for you.
So now we see some beautiful pictures of the ship. We've stepped on board. We can see the nice balcony that everyone has, a nice spacious balcony to just sit out there and relax. You can have breakfast out there in the morning. We do room service for breakfast only. But we also have the top there, you can see also one of our suites, Sky Suites. And then the main dining room where we can accommodate all the guests at one time. It is open seating dining. So that means you can come in during the open dining period. You can sit with whomever you like. It's first come, first serve. And then the beautiful lounges where we do the entertainment and the cocktail parties. And of course, the walking path there on the top deck if you want to get some extra exercise as well.
You know, you talk about a river cruise ship. Like when we do a group like we're doing, one reason we are so far in advance. And I'm going to
Hmm.
post a link in the comments. We just recently did a blog on why I do buy green bananas, and thinking about like there's so many advantages to booking even 2 years in advance that people
Well,
don't
Definitely.
if
think
there's
about.
only 198 passengers on board, that's not a whole lot of inventory to choose from. So
Hmm.
And you got to remember, our group is going on the national park, so now we're limited to 40 people.
40.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I can't block that space like I can on a larger ship. So if other people book in, that will just limit the size of our group. In fact, that's what happened on the last cruise. We had more people wanting to go, and they could have gone on the cruise only, but they wanted to do the national parks. So
Hmm.
that's another great reason to book early for sure.
Absolutely.
And we find our guests really do plan ahead. I mean, they're booking their trips a couple years in advance. And you really have to do that with the national park programs because it is so limited. You have to book ahead. I mean, they're sold out well over a year in advance.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I will put up right here a QR code that will send you straight to the page.
Hmm.
Go ahead, Kelly. What were you going to say?
I don't remember.
What? So maybe I shouldn't interrupt you anymore. This is called the Bon Voyage podcast. So if you don't know what that means already, we have a Bon Voyage list, and it's a list of upcoming adventures that have something special about them, a sale, an opportunity, or that's hosted by us. So Kelly and I are scheduled to host this cruise that we're discussing today. So basically, to access any of these Bon Voyage talks, we go to www.trips, if you can spell, with me.com, tripswithme.com, and it pulls up the Bon Voyage Hot List. And so what the Hot List is like I said, a collection of these trips that are normally hosted by us, and normally they have some special offer, a special sale as well. So if I scroll down here, I could click on any of these and pick step inside the journey, and that will give you all the details, all the pricing, everything about it. We got to go a long way to get to October of 2027, right? So here we go. We step inside the journey, and there's the trip right there. Specific for us. Wow, you can see that there's going to be a live Bon Voyage podcast on July 29th, right now, like right now. And it's got some pictures. We got some videos from American about their ships. And then we can click here and go right to the full itinerary. And then you can click right over here on cabin selection and sign up here. And you can sign up, authorize payment, put your credit card in for the deposit, and you are done. But if you're not the type of person that feels like you want to go online, you can call up at 843-279-0310. Any of our agents here can help you. at the office. If you want to work with Kelly or me specifically, you can ask. And if we're not off hosting another trip, we'll be glad to help you.
And you
Uh,
can always also schedule a consultation on our website, which will allow you to do so via in person or via phone.
right. So right now, unless I'm mistaken, you're still offering a $495 flat fee economy round trip air.
Yes.
Okay. We have until the end of August 31st to book a minimum of 16 people into this group. And if we don't, of course, the ship's still going to sail. There's still going to be a national park trip, and you can stay booked. That's fine and go. But for it to be hosted, there has to be 16 travelers in the group. It doesn't say so on here, but in addition to the air, we will give you a $500 discount off of these prices per person if you book before August 31st. And then if you don't, again, if you don't like to type trips with me, you can just go to this QR code and click on it. It'll go straight to this trip, and you can find out all the details and even register. And then another thing I want to mention is that this trip is an Outlander Society trip. So you can just put that in Google or navigate to it on our webpage. But the main thing to know is there's two rules, Kelly, and what are those?
No grumpy travelers and no discussion of divisive politics while on holiday.
That is
I love
correct.
that.
Sounds good.
That's great.
So if you know an Outlander member, and we have members around the United States that would stand for you, that means that they reasonably believe that you can follow those two rules, and then you go and you do, you're in. Then you can just go on any Outlander trip you want. You can also, sponsor other people. And I'll put a QR code to that up here so you can go straight to this page. It shows all of our upcoming trips through 2027 right now, including the Great Smoky Mountains, we're calling it. You can go through all of our past trips just to get an idea of what we do. Once people become Outlanders, they really tend to love traveling with us. And I know it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but we both work really hard to add that extra dimension. Not only are you getting best service on board and on these trips from American Cruise Lines, but we're there for you to act as, to make sure you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, and to make sure you're happy. And you'll see. And then every one of our trips has a collector's pen that is specific to that trip.
Designed by
They're,
Michael.
they're designed
Oh,
by me.
wow.
And you'll see here, we haven't done the Smoky Mountain River cruise yet. So we'll have to
Ooh.
see what that one looks like. We're through 2025. These two trips are sold out, but we'll be heading to Greenland next month, and then France the following month.
On Friday, Rhiannon's going to give us all of the salespeople. She's going to do a whole presentation on what we're going to do for the semi-quincentennial next year.
Oh,
So I
wow.
think that's going to be great, and that's something definitely you can promote to sell the United States, because we'll be doing extra things in our programs as well as all the places that we visit, and
Yeah.
bring a lot of attention to the US market.
That's a really good point and a good idea, Cindy. I did not think of that.
But 2026 is going to be a great year to cruise with us. It's been one of my big projects working on the semi-quincentennial, and just, doing some enhanced onboard programming, as well as trying to align our ships with some of the events that the America 250 Commission is hosting, and just kind of, taking it to the next level, elevating it more than we already do on board. So
That's great.
Awesome.
definitely worth mentioning if any of your travelers would like to book with us in 2026. That's definitely something to look forward to.
Also, you don't have to go in this group. If you want, we already have people booked. They booked the top suite, actually, the first couple that's booked.
Wow,
And they
yay.
wanted to go. They put the deposit down and everything because they said, we're going anyway. We hope you go, Michael. And they're Outlanders. They're like, we hope you
Right.
and Kelly go, but if you don't, we're going. And so that should be something people know, is you can sign up and go on that, but it doesn't have to be 2027 if you don't want to wait. We'll help you with any American Cruise Line cruise. And if you want to go in 2026, then you might have the opportunity to take advantage of
Mhm.
this semi-quincentennial. It does
I
say
know,
that. I
like
don't know.
literally, I have to
Took me a
practice
while
it.
to
It is
learn
like
how
a
to say it.
15-letter word, semi-quincentennial. I have to say it like 5 times a day.
Semi-quincentennial.
And I want to also mention that, Kelly and I could stand for you if you wouldn't go on this trip, and we can just talk over the phone or Zoom, or you come into our office, and we can stand for you well as the co-founders of the Outlander Society.
Can I add one thing to speak to your point about the younger staff on board? I just really have to say that after I got off that ship, it made me excited for the whole travel industry to
Mhm.
have this whole new generation get bitten by the bug and have the excitement and what that's going to mean for the next 20, 30 years of travel.
I want to
Yeah.
thank, first of all the people that are watching the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and do all that kind of stuff. Ring that little bell. But really, I want to thank Cindy and Rhiannon for spending their time with us today. Thank you very much, ladies.
Absolutely. Thank you
A
so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you.
All right,
Yeah, we
everybody.
look forward to your group.
Yeah, I'll see you guys on the next podcast. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a great day.
Bye.
American Cruise Lines is we have a 28-week program for our crew members, such as our servers, our deckhands, and our housekeepers. And once they complete that 28-week program, they have the opportunity to apply for a promotion to become a hotel officer. So they can either go into guest services coordinator, excursions director, cruise director, assistant hotel manager, even hotel general manager. And if they complete their 28 weeks and apply, they go through something called American Academy, and they get the opportunity to then serve as an officer on board. So we
That's
find
awesome.
that, yeah, American Cruise Lines really promotes from within, and I love that. They really look to their own to promote before they promote it externally, because they just believe that these people that have been working so hard really deserve a shot at proving their leadership skills and stepping into the officer role. So I've seen a lot of people promoted from those positions into officer roles and beyond, and they are absolutely wonderful.
I love that. That is so fantastic.